I came here several times with my father when I was little. But stop.
Oh, don't worry. We haven't eaten at a hotel like this in a while.
In that case, I'll go order for us first.
Ooh, everything looks so good.
Why, of course. Go ahead, try whatever you like. If the food's good, I'll make a group reservation for the rest of...
And if it's not?
Well, then I'll still bring everyone. Albeit with only...
Yeah. Sure. Oh, we called this a farewell meal, but we could also treat it like a victory feast, right?
Oh, true. Very true. In that case, boss, we'll have another 2 dishes.
Huh? Paimon didn't mean that you had to order even more. Speaking of cases, do you think that the mastermind behind the serial disappearances will get caught soon?
Well, we've certainly taken a big step forward, but I feel that's about it. We know that there's an organization that means to...
If it hadn't happened right in front of us, Paimon wouldn't have ever believed that a person could be dissolved like that.
Right? Yet it was because this was such a preposterous notion.
Ugh. If only that guy could have finished speaking! We were so close.
In such investigations, even the smallest step can seem like a yawning. To be honest, I don't have high hopes for any follow-up that the authorities might conduct. It's not that I don't have faith in their ability. It's just that a different perspective is required in some matters. It's easy to guard against and deceive a single narrow perspective. A shift which is exactly why the Spina di Rosula exists. Those highfalutin folk are not all-knowing. That's why...
See?
It's all right. Let's talk about something else. Like, what are your future plans?
That's true. We didn't have a chance to speak to her after the trial and...
I see. So, your primary... I've heard that there's a long line of people waiting to meet Lady Farina.
Yeah, we've heard that she's super popular here.
Well, would you consider some more,
Guess that's Spina di Rosula's boss for you. Chock full of sketchy ideas.
Well, one way would be to infiltrate a performance troupe at the Opera House, only to abandon your... I'm sure Lady Farina would be eager to see the ending, and would agree in order to finish watching the play. Don't you think?
Could you suggest something a little more practical? This plan seems pretty hard to pull off. We'd have to go learn how to act and...
All right, here's another. Find a way to conceal yourselves under her bed. Then, wake her up in the dead of night. I can personally testify that this one works. When I'm sleepy...
That might work, but that's...
Valid point. I overlooked that part. I was just thinking... all right, no more joking around. You did defeat her in court, clearing citizens of hers from false accusations.
You mean that if we catch her while she's on a break, she might be too embarrassed to refuse? Oh, that does make some sense. Why don't we give it a try after this meal? You know,
Huh? Paimon...
was this your drink? Sorry about that. Paimon wasn't really...
No, it's fine.
Alright. Honestly, Paimon wouldn't recommend Fonta anyway. It tastes kind of salty and icky.
Is that so? Huh. Well, if we're all finished eating, then I'll go pay.
Yeah, we're stuck. Oh, so full. Paimon can barely float anymore. Nah, that would be so...
Okay.
Hey, Navia! What are you doing over there?
Oh, nothing. It was just a meal, you know? Nothing the Spina di Rosula can't cover.
Let's get ready to try to meet the Hydro Archon again.
So this is goodbye, huh? Well, if you do encounter any other trouble in Fontaine, you're all... in any case, I'm...
See ya! People around anymore. Looks like that boat we took to Araneas might have been the last one.
Vache.
Looks like we're back here again. Huh? Traveler? Are you... What?
Vache? Vache.
Hey, why are you still walking towards it? There might be... Huh? Hang on. Paimon can kind of hear a voice. It's calling for... Vache, right? Hey, Traveler? Stop walking! Come on, wake up!
Vache, are you... my dear Vache? No, wait. You seem to be someone else. Do you know Vache? Do you know where my love is? I'm... Wait. Who am I? I'm very sorry. I fear I do not know. My memories feel like they have been washed away like a flood. So many fragments dissolved amidst the tide, never to be recovered. How much have I lost? How many things that I once held dear while on land have I since forgotten? Yes, that is what I was once. But now, I do not know how I came to be like this either. I only vaguely remember being covered in light blue water. I also remember going to many places. I loved adventure, loved exploring places of peril. No matter where I went, Vache would go with me. I knew how dearly he loved me. And I also loved him equally as much. But now, we can no longer go back. No! Our reunion no longer has any meaning. There is no way for us to create any new memories. The thought of me gives him no succor. So let it lie forgotten beneath the waters. If you meet Vache, tell him not to look for me. Tell him perhaps that is so. As I was submerged in the waters, losing consciousness, I saw Vache above the surface. If only I could have comforted him. Told him that I did not suffer. Indeed, is that what you call it? Dissolving. It was a state of neither fear nor frenzy, with only an endless peace. I could also liken it to being a thirsty person who drinks water for the first time, and only then sees how they have lived for so... I think I hear your companion. It's time for you to go, I think. Farewell, then. I am glad that you were able to sense my...
Look out!
Dear God, it's a whole army of Gardamex. Chlorand? Quick, now's our chance! I should thank you for lending us your sword there, Chlorand. But before I do so, could you explain how you managed to show up here?
I followed you. It seemed to me that danger has followed you more closely as of late.
I believe that following someone without their knowledge is actually called stalking, is it not?
Mr. Callus's last wish was for me to ensure your safety, and I will not betray his trust. He would do the same, were he alive today.
Do not speak of my father!
Sorry, demoiselle. I was not strong enough.
Thank you for your aid, Miss Chlorand, but do keep an eye out for your manner of speech. I believe we all...
Sorry, I did not...
Whatever. What else do you know? How did you come to the conclusion that I'd be in grave danger?
I doubt I know much more than you. But I believe that the mastermind behind the serial... Your performance tonight will almost certainly attract their attention.
I'm sure they've known about me. To be honest, I'm shocked it's taken them this long to act against me. And what about these Gardamex? I thought only those associated with a Maison Gardiennage could control them.
None of these mecha have serial numbers. I was sure to check a moment ago. They are not the ones used by the authorities to enforce the law. I can only conclude that some powerful or wealthy party must have obtained them via illegal means.
What? Your point being that they're out of Spina di Rosula's league, then?
Yes. Be careful, and do not act rashly.
I will continue investigating, no matter what. We will... Regardless, thank you for your help today, Chlorand. But, if you get any ideas, tell me first. I don't much appreciate being followed.
I do not think that they'll strike again anytime soon. So I shall stop following you. Good day, all.
Right. I suppose that's the best news we've gotten today.
Demoiselle, I believe that Miss Chlorand was being sincere with you. If we tried, we could attempt to thaw relations a little.
I know, I just... She's...
Oh, thank goodness! Paimon thought we were done. Those Gardamex came out of nowhere while you were unconscious, and Nadia and her gang. Oh, and there was that champion duelist named Chlorand who came out to save us too. We got lucky there. Paimon probably couldn't have fought them off.
Oh, come now. Forget all that polite talk. That wasn't really a farewell meal we had back there. As such, we're still partners. There's no need to thank...
It will take 50 years for me to match Demoiselle's magnanimity.
If it were me, I would have joined the Spina di Rosula on a...
All right, you two. That...
Actually, Navia, how did you know that we were in danger? You...
Well, to be honest, you're the one who tipped us off, Paimon.
Huh? Really? Paimon contributed somehow?
Yes, all thanks to you grabbing my drink by mistake.
How did that happen?
After we parted ways, I was on the way back to one of our bases when I saw that the Fonta tasted kind of salty and icky. Fonta only comes in sweet flavors, so how could it have tasted salty? The cup?
So the Fonta had been spiked with water from the primordial sea?
Yes. So if you hadn't drunk that cup for me...
Spina di Rosula is preparing the grandest of awards for you as we...
Huh. Really?
I sent people to Hotel de Boer to investigate. But that's when I figured out that you might be in danger, and her...
But why would they go after us too? All we did was defend Linny in court and help clear his...
Well, you did foil a plan that they were probably pretty proud of. And oh, speaking of which, did anything strange happen when you drank the
Well, it can't be coincidence that the traveler fainted just now. Oh, and this time Paimon heard it too! But it was real faint. Does this situation have to do... Does that mean the primordial seawater raises someone's sensitivity to hydro when it's used?
That doesn't sound like too much of a bad thing, to be honest.
New intel? While you were...
Well, let's hear it, shall we? Oh. Vache. That name doesn't ring a bell. I suppose he hasn't stepped forward as a witness in court since he saw that young woman dissolve. He was at least at the crime, but he never gave testimony or any... Yes, thank you. This is very important information indeed. We will continue to investigate. Oh, you mean...
Well, you did say that our farewell meal didn't really count. And besides, we're in this now whether we like it or not. You're not gonna let the...
Demoiselle, do try not to look quite so pleased. You are the face of Spina di Rosula, after all.
You talk too much. Well, in that case, let's head back to one of our bases. We also have some plans to go over, and hopefully we can deepen our bonds.
Don't worry, you two. With us around, our...
It's right up ahead, but let's
I've been keeping watch, Demoiselle. I haven't spotted any...
Very good.
I shall find rooms for our...
Thank you, Malus. Now...
So, this is your base?
Your accommodations have been arranged. Under the present circumstances, I can confidently say it's the...
Well, our funds have been a little tight lately. After all, we don't allow illegal or unethical profiteering. In fact, our funds...
Seems like it's tough times for everyone. But if you...
To be honest, our financial situation was a lot better back when my father was in charge a few years ago.
Your father... He was the...
Demoiselle, if you'll allow me to...
No. I'll explain it myself. I suppose I couldn't run... My father's name is Callus. Yes, the same one they call Callus the Unfaithful in the streets. 3 years ago, he was accused of murdering his own friend. But he chose a duel to defend his honor instead of standing trial.
Oh no.
But I do not believe my father was a murderer. I'm sure he was set up. At the time, I believed that if he only stood trial and was duly investigated, something amiss would crop up and prove his innocence. But strangely, he not only requested the duel himself, but even after being seriously injured, to the point where he could be deemed as having lost the duel, he refused to surrender. 3 years later, how could he protect his honor if he's dead? If anything, he gave the closest piece of info I have is that my father had been investigating the
So that's why you're so determined.
That's right. I've also tried to investigate the murder my father was implicated in. But however, I believe that if the murder case is related to those, I must know what really happened. Was my father coerced? Framed? Even if he really did kill his friend? If only he'd been more open with me when he was still alive. He even hid the fact that my mother died due to and now, here I am investigating his death. You...
Demoiselle, please, if there is anything I can do...
I also will never believe that Master Callus murdered anyone. None. Master Callus did so much good in life, yet all it took was... Even our supporters decreased greatly due to that incident, hence our...
Wait! If Callus was such a good man, wouldn't people
No. Perhaps people just revel in that kind of drama. It's not something exclusive to people from Fontaine, really. Everyone's like that. People love watching the evil turn over a new leaf, but they also enjoy watching good people fall in...
But how could... never mind. If Callus...
There is one other thing. Master Callus's opponent in the duel was Ms. Clorand.
Oh, her? Well, then, isn't that as good as... Yeah, that's not the sort of thing that...
Ms. Clorand has always placed great emphasis on the honorable nature of the duel. If she knew Master Callus beforehand and greatly respected, there was only...
It's not that I don't understand her at all.
Don't worry, Navia. Paimon knows how you feel.
Afterward, Ms. Clorand told us that at the start of the duel, Master Callus requested that she ensure Demoiselle Navia's safety. Yes, that is our understanding as...
Oh, Papa. What madness drove you to ask the person who killed you to take care of me? All right. Anyway, that's the information I wanted to share. Thanks. You two?
Yeah.
Please, relax and get some sleep.
Paimon slept, huh? Navia?
I sent them back to Poisson. It's Spina de Rosula's place of origin, and where we have our headquarters. There's...
Paimon gets the feeling that you're just trying to... But never mind that. When did you...
No, I just returned after going out for a while. I did some
Wait, so you didn't sleep?
How could I after having such critical new evidence?
Guess Paimon was...
Unfortunately, this name seems to have been wiped from existence. It doesn't seem to... I suspect that those behind this have already taken steps to hinder an investigation from this angle.
Does that mean we're...
No. There is one ray of hope. One place in Fontaine, and that is the archives kept by Chief Justice Neuvillette. A place where detailed fought if the Oceanid you met is one of the young women who went missing recently.
So Neuvillette maintains an archive of case files? Whew. In that case, let's go talk to him. Aren't you...
No, it's nothing. Let's go see the Honorable Chief... The Palais is right up ahead. Come on.
Halt! Please state your business here. The Chief Justice is presently occupied. This place does look pretty heavily guarded.
Hey, don't you recognize us?
Huh? Who are you? Just to be clear, I don't care.
See? They've got great discipline, too.
Yep. If you're here just to crack jokes, I can point you towards the exit. Unlike some, we're...
No. What I meant to say is, shouldn't you...
Oh, yes, I remember. I read about it in the Steambird. You must be Linny's attorney.
We're here today to report and archive some information on a follow-up case.
Huh. Is that even a...
Of course. Don't worry. We're here on official business.
All right, then, I'll let you through. The Chief Justice is...
Thanks so much.
Please come in.
Sorry to barge in, Monsieur Neuvillette. We only lied to get in because we didn't know any...
It's all right. Please let me know how I may be of assistance to you.
So you're...
We're looking for a man called Vacher. He may have been an eyewitness in the serial disappearances case. If we can find...
Ah, I see. In that case, please...
Who knew that Neuvillette would be so easy to talk?
Unfortunately, I'm quite certain that no one by the name of Vacher has been involved. There are no records of him either in the files or in my memory.
Traveler, what if it was
Is that so? All right, then. Thank you so much, Monsieur Neuvillette. We'll take our leave now.
Ahem. Miss Navia, I can understand how you feel. Your father, Callus, was a truly exceptional man. We deeply regret his passing.
And what are you trying to say, Monsieur Neuvillette? Are you trying to console me? Extend your sympathy? Or just express some tendril of regret? No. You are not trying to do any of that. I can hear it in your voice. There's no emotion behind your words. You only said those things because you felt like you should. It's just like last time. After my father took his place in the duelist ring, I pushed through the guards to talk to you as a last resort.
You even told me then that you thought there was something fishy with the case, yet you still allowed the duel to go ahead. In your eyes, the value of a human life is nothing compared to those cold laws you hold so dear. If you truly regret my father's death, then why didn't you give me the power to stop him from throwing his life away? Why did you just let everything was hanging on a thread at that moment? There are still so many things I never got to tell him. If you really have no heart, then just look me in the eyes. I, Navia, will show you the true meaning of regret.
I'm sorry, Miss Navia.
You and my father are truly alike. You keep all kinds of things in your heart. It's not so much that you can't feel, but that you would never oh well. In any case, everyone, my apologies for taking my emotions out on you, Monsieur Chief Justice. Let's go, Traveler and Paimon.
Navia, are you okay?
I'm fine. Rain. It's raining.
You're right. Wasn't it still sunny when we went into the building? And there shouldn't be any active trials today. How strange.
Now that I think of it, on the day my father was convicted of murder—
What is it? Did you think of something?
Yeah, he was outside. It was uncovered and the rain could fall there. Why? Do you think the rain could have affected the crime scene? That thought has occurred to us before. We've even expanded the search area to try to account for that, but didn't find anything of value. Oh? Wait.
So you're saying that the true murderer could have been turned into water and then got washed away with the rain? Yeah. And if that's what had happened, then no one would have believed your—
I really think I found a true genius for a partner. All right, let's go to Poisson. With this new lead in mind, we'll—
Yeah, we're gonna make progress for sure.
Do you want to go with me now? Or do you want to head over by yourself later? Great, let's go.
Whoa, what a huge ship! Why would a ship be
There's no need to be so surprised. My father was the one who asked for it to be built like this. Perhaps our tastes in exterior— A gigantic and glamorous ship embodies discovery, opportunity, ambition, and conquest. It symbolizes Spina di Rosula's bright and limitless future.
And Paimon thought you were bluffing when you said Paimon was confused why a group with such a history would live in the sewers. But now that Paimon has seen this ship for herself?
Well, Poisson is where Spina di Rosula began, after all.
Maloose, we're back!
Apologies for the wait, You said before that you still had some business at the court. What?
About that. It's because my partner here reminded... You still remember, right, Maloose?
Yes, the case was quite similar to that of Mr. Linney's. Both were what you'd call impossible.
Could you tell us a bit more about what...
Yeah, of course. Many years ago, something called synth began to gain popularity in Poisson. At a glance, it was a kind of drink that could excite your mood and produce many...
Wait! Didn't that guard guy who turned into water also mention that the...
Yes, he did. Considering what we know now, it's almost certain that if you drink synth for an extended amount of time, you'll suffer many side effects, such as and if you were to stop drinking it completely, you'll experience flashes of paranoia and anxiety. As he oversaw Poisson, my father was compelled to put a stop to synth abuse, and called for a complete ban of it.
Boss's uncompromising attitude incurred the synth vendor's wrath, but no matter how much they... Not only that, Boss became determined to find the mastermind behind the synth...
Yes, but the enemy was very cunning. So he could never get anything out of the dealers. All recognizing that, my father decided to contact the dealers in secret, and cultivate personal relationships with them. The man's name was Jacques. He felt greatly ashamed about his work. After that night, my father hosted a banquet at his countryside estate. He planned to meet up and exchange information with Jacques over some food. But then, we heard 2 gunshots from the courtyard. We raced to the scene and found my father.
Huh? How did that happen?
Sounds just like Lenny's case, doesn't it? In both cases, the culprit seemed... Looking back on it, though, I now believe the most important clue was something we all overlooked at the time. Precisely. It's all thanks to you that I made the connection now. Back then, we all... But, considering it now, you're right. We still don't know what happened. But my intuition tells me...
Jacques was an empathetic... I think this third person is probably the key to the... On that note, however... Our opponent, even though Spina de Rosula has lost, there is no need to follow...
If that's indeed what he wished for, was I not the closest person to him? And yet, what was the point of him dying without sharing any of the secrets he knew? Did he... Synth is still here. Callous the Unfaithful is still his epithet. Did he think I'd just accept his meaningless death and live out my... I've never accepted that. Ever. Not since I want to find out the real answer for everyone's sake.
Navia.
This is indeed the best moment to act. Your partner...
So you do know something else, Maloose?
Yes, I do. In fact, even before that banquet, Boss already knew. But what drove all the tensions to the boiling point was the revelation that you, Demoiselle, had been selected as the next...
What?
Boss also didn't tell you that he had been and the serial disappearances case cost him. 5 years was nowhere near enough time to resolve this long-standing conflict. Knowing all of this, he decided to use one final intimidation tactic before his death. He claimed to have already gotten his hands on some key incriminate, but as long as you remained safe, he would not share the evidence with the public. If something were to happen to you, then he and all those he told would immediately expose all they knew about Synth and the
Right, so nobody would be...
As we've seen, Boss's tactic has worked. Even though Boss has been gone for a long time, the other side has not tried to take Demoiselle's life.
No, I don't believe it. He never appeared...
No father wants their daughter to see them weak and haggard, especially someone as proud as Boss. To him, dying in a duel and suffering lasting dishonor as the unfaithful was still far preferable than losing face.
So he chose to die in silence.
I'm afraid you're not understanding this correctly, demoiselle. If Boss's spirit could hear you telling me that you... I'm sure he'd be
That fool. No. He might have set up everything precisely because... Is that the amount of confidence he had in me? And what if I was never able to make it to where I am now? Yeah. I suppose that's true. With the way he'd set things up, if I had wanted, I could have just lived out my life without a care in the world. But thankfully, he rarely talked to me about complex matters, and thus understood little of me as a person. Malus, what was the key?
It's the location where synth is produced. When he was threatening the enemy, Boss didn't share this. But if you want to use it against the enemy...
Why? If we know where the place is, can't...
You mustn't forget that we're fighting against a mysterious... There's no telling what might be lying in wait, but a single visit to their headquarters. The worst case would be that we leave empty.
Then, in that case, why not work with the Font...
Well, you saw one of them dissolve during Mr. Linney's case. We have...
That's true, but things are different.
You sound like you've put a lot of thought...
I am the butler. I've always been willing to take on any kind of risk for you.
Thank you for all of that, Malus.
Let me think. One conclusion I came to was that the enemy... When I announced orders to the organization's members on Demoiselle's behalf, I used to deliberately keep a few. If the vendors didn't change their plans, then the individuals informed of our orders must be innocent. After several rounds of testing, the first is Florent, Spina di Rosula.
Huh? Florent?
Yes, surprising, isn't it? He was one of the people Boss trusted the most. Thanks to his position within Boss's innermost circle, he always knew our upcoming... There's someone else like him, too. Marcel, the head of...
Uncle Marcel.
It's a guild in Poisson. Boss helped it to grow to its... In the beginning, there were only...
So, they're like a sister organization?
Yes, you can say that. When we were... It's a bit difficult to imagine someone you...
The final suspect is Thierry, the man responsible for coordinating information. Although the guards mostly leave us to our own devices, there are still many... Since Thierry is always in the know about our current activity...
I see. These are all to think that the enemy we've been fighting against has been right next to me all along.
If you want to investigate them, please take every precaution to not...
Of course. And thank you, Malus.
You're too kind, my lady. And before I forget, proving Boss's innocence would also mean clearing him of blame in Jacques' death. After that incident, Jacques' wife and daughter were taken into the Spina's care. If it might help, you could also pay them a visit.
Aw, thank you so much, Malus.
A new case awaits, my dear partner. I hope we can work together to uncover...
It is settled, then. Please excuse me, and enjoy...
Thank you for arranging everything for...
Excuse me, miss. Do you need anything from us?
Oh,
Hey, Navia's all quiet. This isn't like her at all.
I'm sorry that I only came to visit after all this time.
Ah, if it's about that, there's no need to apologize. After my husband died, Spina di Rosula sent us a lot of more...
But aren't all of those things nothing compared to the loss of Jacques? I can understand the kind of pain.
You don't understand at all.
I didn't know how to face you. Because I didn't know what I could I know. Only the full truth could bring closure.
I'm sorry. I appreciate the sentiment, but you don't have to carry all that guilt. On the matter regarding my husband, my daughter and I have...
Would you mind sharing it with me?
I really can't believe...
I always knew that my husband's money was earned through others' suffering. He told me countless times that if he could turn back the clock, he had many regrets, and felt that he took the idea of providing for his family too literally. For the longest time, so when Mr. Callis came to him with a proposal, he accepted it all. He tried to be as careful as he could, but even so...
They found out about it.
Papa didn't say that exactly, but Papa did tell me that I should never be ungrateful.
Before he left that day, he told me that he had no choice. It was only later that I realized it was his final farewell to the two of us. I don't know that for sure, but you could say that's the conclusion I eventually came to. Which is why I'm the one who should feel guilty. Callis had always taken great care of, even if he fired the shot that killed my husband. It was likely in self-defense. It is impossible for me to hate him for what he had done.
But Mama, why is Papa still the bad guy? Papa always wanted to be a good man, so why did he have to do—
Well, things aren't always as they seem.
Yeah, Papa was a really good man.
Then you should hold on to that. If a good man had to do regardless of whether he left you a parasol or a sword.
Oh.
Thank you for everything you've told me. I will definitely find the truth.
Thank you. I'm very grateful to— Even though your personality is quite different from your father's, your determination when you speak is really simple.
You really think so? That's the first time anyone said that to me.
Are you okay, Navia?
I'm fine. Don't worry. Let's investigate the 3 suspects next. Laurent should be nearby, and we should be able to find Thierry and Uncle... I'll get myself together on the way, so please don't worry.
Greetings, boss. How may I be of assistance today?
I'm sure you've heard about what happened at the Opera House. Someone got...
Yeah, I've heard. With something that dramatic?
It also reminded me, on the day that the incident, after my partner here put the dots together for me, can you do me a favor and try to recall what happened?
Let me think. After that, he told us that he wanted to go get some fresh air. So we let him go without... My first reaction was that Mr. Callis's life was in danger. So I grabbed my holster, but when I got there, it was already too late. Mr. Callis was standing over a...
So you also remember 2 gunshots?
Indeed. The guard said that the first shot didn't hit anyone, while the second killed Jacques. But I've never... Reason being, Mr. Callis had left his gun on the table. I even made sure to confirm that before But according to the guards, that doesn't mean he couldn't have had other... About the clothes left at the scene that you mentioned. Do you think there was a third...
At least from our perspective, my father had no reason to kill. So he would also have no reason to bring an extra gun. The gun he was holding probably belonged to Jacques.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So you're saying Mr. Callis ended up... But hold on. If that's what had happened... He didn't even want to face the Oratrice machine, and chose instead to... Did he lose all faith in the courts after seeing someone dissolve?
About that, Malouse told me a thing or two. So, I think I can understand why. I'll tell you everything once...
I understand. Then, and if I may just say one more thing. The whole... Many people have laughed at me, but it was Mr. Callis's... No matter what others...
Don't worry. You and all our other...
Hey, Thierry! It's me!
Oh, now, what brings you here, Miss Navia? I've heard that you made quite the name for...
Oh, so you've caught news of that already.
Oh, okay. Hey, I'm also a member of the guards, you know.
Are you sure there isn't a little bit of truth in that? Under normal circumstances, shouldn't...
I mean, where I work is really up to me. Callus did a fantastic job running the town. Building Spina di Rasula from the ground up and clearing many obstructions. It would be next to impossible for me to find a similarly Anyway, enough chit-chat. Are these...
Yes. These two are my partners. What happened at the Opera House made us realize that Linny's case and my father's may be related.
Ah, I get it. You think there might be more to the case now that we know people can be... If you want to go through the original files from your father's case,
That'd be much appreciated. Thank you. Actually, I have another question. Do you have the authority to dispatch Gardamex?
Of course. Without them, I couldn't possibly handle Poisson on my own. Why do you ask? We definitely can't use them to force...
Well, you see, just recently, we were attacked by a... So, if you hypothetically wanted to do something again...
Then you think too highly of my abilities. Dispatching mecha is very... If I had to make an analogy, when you order a dish, the chef will make it for you. You can ask the chef to cook. If you try to make unreasonable demands, the chef would just think you're out of your mind and ignore you. Removing a serial number is also not as easy as you might think. There are a lot of... So I can promise you, those mecha were definitely private units. They're certainly cheap. So, whoever their owner is must be super rich, powerful, or both. Now that you mention it, though...
Oh, then you're officially in the clear, Thierry.
Jokes aside, I'd like to wish... I'll be staying in the city for a little while.
This is not the...
How may I help you? I'm here to see Marcel. Could you please let him know? Sure. I will let him know.
Navia, hello. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm not as young as I used...
Oh, it's all right, Uncle Marcel. There's no need to stress. I just wanted to talk to you briefly about what happened.
Yes, I've...
Oh, you were...
That's right. I went there with Navia to see the magic show. Who knew it would turn... I also witnessed your marvelous sleuthing work. To beat the Hydro Archon at her own game on her own turf. I can already imagine everyone in Fontaine just...
Oh, Paimon doesn't want to become the talk of drunkard.
Apologies. It's just how Fontaine is as a nation. Everyone...
Uncle Marcel, you've also noticed that other thing, right?
Yes. I was reminded of your father's case right away.
Exactly. I still don't have much solid proof, but I can...
Oh, and what makes you say that?
We were attacked on Araneus by some unnumbered Gardamex. And there was also an attempt to get me to drink water from the primordial sea. If not for the vigilance of my partner, I probably wouldn't even be here talking to you right now.
Oh, you're giving us too much
Alas, It seems things are heating up again. But rest assured, Navia, Poisson will always remain a safe haven. If anyone dares to lay their hands on you there, the confrérie—
Thank you, Uncle Marcel. But I don't intend to go into— Do you have any new thoughts on my father's case?
About that. Sorry, the confrérie was responsible for that banquet. So I was out and about the whole time, making sure things were running smoothly. Then I heard the sound of a gunshot.
Oh, it's okay. No need to push yourself. We'll ask—
Sounds good. Just let me know if all my wealth comes from Callus's patronage and support. I'll spend however—
We've talked to all 3 suspects.
None of them sounded particularly suspicious.
I suppose that's to be expected, though. If a single conversation's— Anyway, even though we didn't make a breakthrough, let's still compile what we were able—
But where should we start? Ah, you're right! Flora mentioned that Callus probably only ended up with a gun.
According to Jacques' family members, he already told them that he had been discovered. If I had to guess, he probably received an order from the synth boss to kill my father.
So, Jacques fired the first shot?
Oh? And why is that?
Ooh, that's a good point. Jacques probably already knew that he was just being used as a tool.
So, what would make more sense from his perspective would be to turn his back on— Makes sense. But besides Jacques, the attack from— It's obvious that our enemy has become more antsy after the secret of the—
Do you think he knew, even then, that we'd follow this—
Given everything that's happened since, it's quite pop. But who among the 3 suspects would have the ability to control privately owned Gardamex? Uncle Marcel? And with funds from the confrérie, he could also afford a large number of— Still really hard for me to imagine, though. Also, wouldn't this mean he has been spending a whole lot of mora and energy to fight his— Thierry, you say? But—
Yeah, and if the mecha were taken from the guards, it should be pretty easy to find—
Florent? But Spina di Rosula's—
So you're saying he's too—
Exactly. He can't. Who could it be? You know, if you think everything—
Could we be missing other suspects?
Malus has always been very reliable, and the suspect is knowledgeable about the Spina's internal affairs, has the means to dispatch Mecha to assassin. Even if I don't want to believe it, I'm starting to see how things could all—
Well, we still have another trump card on top of all the theorizing and speculating.
Yes, Malus did say that charging straight in there would be extremely risky. But we don't have any other options right now. We need far more solid proof before we can hope to go charging in on our enemy.
Navia, here you are. Oh, I've been looking—
Huh? Aren't you the guy—
Yeah. News came from Irenaeus just after you left.
Wasn't that place built specifically for holding trials? What's the—
I know. but they said the person they're putting on trial is a Fatui harbinger called Tartaglia.
What? Is that someone you know?
Yeah, we know him. Maybe even a little too well.
Well, he's been accused of being the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case.
Wait, how? None of our investigations have had anything to do with him.
That's what I thought was strange about it, so I came to... If the charge against him stands, then it'll be next to impossible to get the guards to support any of our plans.
Right. Because they'll think they've already found the culprit.
Yeah. And it'll be a lot harder then to clear Mr. Callus's name.
I understand. Well, partner? Huh? Split up? What do you mean? Just since this is a trial about the serial disappearances case, the culprit's attention will be focused on Irenaeus. You're right. This is our best opportunity. All right then. I won't have any chance of making that charge stick though, unless we find more evidence. It'll be up to you to make it back in time and hand the decisive evidence to me.
We'll help you, just like you helped us in Linny's trial.
Demoiselle, please allow us to accompany you.
I'm ready.
Ah, Malou, Silver. When did you two get here?
We heard that you'll be leaving Poisson and figured that it's our hope that your confidence will be...
Thank you so much. Then, let's make haste for Irenaeus. Paimon, Traveler, I'll see you at the...
See you then! Now that Navia has set out for Irenaeus, we should also get going. The location has already been marked on the map, so let's head over. Huh. According to Malusa's info, the synth production base is underwater. Let's go and try to find the entrance. Finally found it! Huh. So this is the entrance that leads to the synth production base. Ah, you're right. An important place like this is bound to have a ton of protective Navia's probably arguing up a storm right now to stop...
It would appear that I must repeat my question again, Mr. Tartaglia. Do you accept the charge that you are the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case?
To be perfectly honest, I don't understand your country's complicated court system, or the reason why I'm being charged with something I've never even heard of. However, I did hear that people who have been charged can choose to participate in a duel to clear their name. Is that right? In which case, as long as I accept the charge, I can have an all-out fight with that champion duelist Clorend, right? I've got to admit, that's one of the most enticing offers I've ever received. When I privately sparred with her last time, she was obviously holding back. Real disappointment.
Hey! Don't you understand? You're currently the prime suspect for a major case. This isn't the place for you to be looking for fights.
Oh? Sounds like the Hydro Archon wants to lecture me on the ways of the Opera House. Then why don't you duel me too? I'm the kind of student that learns best in the heat of battle.
No. That's not what I meant.
Alas, it would appear that communication with the defendant is going poorly, and we have made very little progress. In that case, let me explain everything from the very beginning again. The goal of this trial is to determine the culprit behind the serial disappearances case.
That case had nothing to do with him. You've got the wrong man.
Huh? What's going on? Why is she interjecting again?
I told you it couldn't be one of the Fatui harbingers.
Miss Navia, this is the second time you've interrupted the court proceedings. I only tolerated your behavior last time because you were able to provide the court with a key eyewitness. But that was an exception rather than standard court protocol. I can very well charge you with contempt of court for your interjections.
Oh, please. Did you ever think I had any respect for this place's pointless theatrics? We can put that discussion aside for now. I'm not here to argue with you. I'm here to charge the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case. And if my charges prove true, then Tartaglia here will be proven innocent by default.
Oh, a young lady has charged in and offered to clear my name. How fascinating. Well, I'd gotten half bored to death by all these rules and procedures anyway, so I'll take you up on that offer. So, Your Honor, is there nothing else for me to do now?
You may take a seat for now in the audience, but that doesn't mean the suspicions against you have been lifted. Now then, Miss Navia, who is the person you would like to charge instead?
That person is... Marcel, the head of Confrérie of Cabrières.
Huh? What confrérie? Never heard of them in my life.
I've heard of them, but weren't they Spina di Rosula's sister organization?
Oh, is this going to be a friends to enemies type situation?
Please let me remind you, Miss Navia, that charging someone is an incredibly serious matter. Committing to the charge also means taking on the legal responsibilities associated with it. And if the charge fails, depending on the circumstances, you may also be charged with the crime of making a false accusation. Knowing this, do you still wish to charge this man?
Yes, I do.
In that case, I declare the charge to be valid. Miss Navia and attorneys, please take your places on the court. Members of the guards, please contact Mr. Marcel right away so that he may stand trial. Mr. Marcel, you will not require an attorney. Is that correct?
Apologies. It all just happened so quickly. I still haven't figured out what's going on. I think an attorney won't be necessary. This is probably just a misunderstanding between me and Navia.
Very well. In that case, since both sides have now arrived, Miss Navia, please present your charges.
I would like to take everyone back to 3 years ago, to the case of Callus the Unfaithful. Only through elucidating what really happened in that case can we connect all the dots for the serial disappearances case.
Navia, do you really think that I was the one who killed your father? Come on, why would I do that? Callus was my benefactor, and remember, both you and I only ran to the scene when we heard the sound of a gun. If that's enough to make me a suspect, wouldn't that make everyone at that banquet a suspect as well?
I think there's no point in getting into the specifics right now. The audience doesn't even have the big picture yet. Even I'm
struggling to remember some details of that case.
Exactly correct, Your Honor. I must refresh everyone's memory about that case before I can explain my charge and reasoning.
I see. In which case, I will recount the findings about that case as originally recorded by Maison Gardiennage. On the day of the murder, Spina di Rosula hosted a large banquet in a countryside estate owned by the Confrérie of Cabrières. During the banquet, all attending guests heard 2 gunshots from the courtyard. When the guests arrived at the scene, they found the primary suspect, Callus, holding a gun, while his acquaintance, Jacques, lay dead from a gunshot wound. The guards' investigation did not recover any other firearms from the scene. As a result, they concluded that the suspect's first shot must have missed, while the second must have taken Jacques' life. The suspect did not dispute this conclusion, and also declined to defend himself in court. Instead, he chose to prove his innocence through a duel. Callus was defeated by champion duelist Clarand in the ensuing duel, and soon succumbed to the injuries. These are the known facts of...
The one with the motive to kill was Jacques, not my father. And even so, Jacques still had no reason to... in truth, the third person shot Jacques first, and was after that, the true culprit turned the third person into water, erasing... Thank you for the summary, Your Honor. Of course. However, we should revisit the case now that we've gained new information about the abilities of water from the primordial sea. Something's not right. The testimony of the victim's family confirms that Jacques had thoughts of assassinating Cal. However, in the end, he reconsidered. And instead, unfortunately for Jacques, the true culprit had already This assassin first shot... a pile of clothing, but since it was... Realizing this, the true culprit caused the hired assassin to dissolve into water, leading everyone to believe Callus was responsible for Jacques' murder. This...
That's what happened. Wait, you're telling me something as dangerous as water from the primordial sea has been used for all these years?
What a great theory. It also explains Callus's and Jacques' respective motives. I guess they didn't shoot each other after all.
Mr. Marcel, you are the one being charged with the crime. You should provide a rebuttal if you wish to prove your innocence.
Ah, but I think I agree with everything Navia just said. In fact, there was nothing in her speech that...
Then, may I ask some questions? In my opinion, we primarily need to determine 2 things. 1, do you have the evidence to back up your claims?
I'm afraid not. At least not at this very moment.
Boo! If you don't have any evidence, you should just go home!
I may not have the evidence with me, but I know where I could go to collect it. If we look up the deserted clothes against a record of people who... we should be able to find a match. Considering the serial disappearances case, the guards probably kept careful records of all missing persons from around that—
That makes sense to me. Monsieur Neuvillette, I would consider this to be a reasonable investigative direction.
Why do I feel like Verina's acting a little differently today?
Maybe she's scared of embarrassing herself again?
Alternatively, she's become more diligent after charging an innocent citizen.
My second question has to do with the ensuing duel. If the truth is indeed as you described, then why didn't Mr. Callis explain himself in court? If he had testified that a person had been dissolved, he could have at least mounted a defense.
I've thought about this too, and the answer is actually pretty simple. The dissolving power of water from the primordial sea is an important secret for— My father could have exposed it for all to see, but he chose to take it to the grave. At that time, Spina di Rosula was in dire straits, and his reputation had already been shattered. He had no guarantee that going forward with the truth would allow the culprit to be brought to justice. What was certain, however, was that it would paint a gigantic target on my back.
Boss once told me that Demoiselle had already been selected as the next target of the serial disappearances case.
What?
If the secret had gotten out, the culprit would have fought an all-out war with Espina right there and then. I wouldn't have been the only one in danger. All of us would— Of course, the guards might eventually figure out the truth of the matter and determine that we were in the right— But what good would that do? How can a hollow verdict protect anyone? Had this opera house ever given my father any kind of confidence in its brand of justice, Spina di Rosula would have had no reason to exist. But by staying silent, we retained the ability to deter our opponents, and I was able to become Spina di Rosula's president, which made me harder to target, as well as giving me more time to grow and learn. And once I have figured out the truth and stepped up to the challenge, I will do what this opera house cannot, and restore my father's truth and honor back to—
So, you mean to say, your father intended to die in the duelist's ring?
That's right.
Do you have any proof?
Of course. All you need is to ask his opponent, Clarand. I don't need your apology, your guilt, or your support from the shadows. You don't have to do anything for my sake. But since he entrusted his will to you, Clarand, you should tell us the truth about his sacrifice.
So, during the duel, did you believe that Callis was intending to die?
Yes, I did. As a champion duelist, I've fought many battles and taken a countless number of dishonored lives. In my line of work, I've seen all kinds of people give their all for the faintest hope to continue living. Some were determined. Just one look and I can tell if a duelist is hoping to live. I hereby swear on my name and honor as a champion duelist that Mr. Callis never intended to leave the ring alive.
Since that's your testimony, I have no more questions. It appears there really are good grounds to reopen this case.
I concur. However, Miss Navia, you still have not explained the link between your father's case and the serial disappearances case.
Right? What she said was fascinating, but—
Wait, weren't they just talking about the serial disappearances case?
Of course, Your Honor. The two cases are connected via a matter of timing. In my father's case, the culprit intended to kill both Jacques and Callis. As a result, they planned to act after hearing 2 gunshots. And at the end of Linny's trial, the culprit also only dissolved the victim in front of everyone because they realized they were at risk of being identified. The culprit could only time their actions so precisely if they were already at the scene. Coincidentally, Marcel attended both the banquet and the trial.
So that's why you suspected me. Even after hearing your reasoning, I still can't help but find it a little preposterous. I'm used to it, though. You've always been an impulsive and sentimental child, Navia. It's one of your most endearing traits.
No need to appeal to pathos.
I won't try to refute your points one by one, but even if everything you just said was true, can you prove that I was the only person present at both events? On top of that, does a person have to be physically present to control the timing? Can't someone remotely monitor the place?
Know what she can say to that?
I know that even with that, you might still think you can reduce the list of suspects with some further investigations, until I'm the only one left on the list. Alas, who won't feel at least a little hurt by an accusation of murder from a girl you see as your own daughter? But if I were to dismiss this completely, you'd also think I'm not being considerate of your feelings. Ah well, let Uncle Marcel teach you another lesson. Do you know what the biggest flaw in your reasoning is?
I suppose you're gonna tell me anyways.
It's timing again. I'm a businessman by trade. From that standpoint, there's no reason for me to kidnap young women. It's a high-risk action with nothing to gain. In addition, I left my home in Snezhnaya when I was young to come to Poisson and work in some trade. My business only thrived when I received Callus's patronage. But the disappearances began before I ever stepped foot in Fontaine.
I do apologize, demoiselle. This was my mistake.
No, it's not your fault. I'm sure he had come prepared.
Is there anything else you'd like to say? Would you like to check the date of my first business license against the first known case of the serial disappearances? You can also take a look at my border entry records, or ask my friends and family when I left Snezhnaya for the first time. Could those records and testimonies do something to appease the unspeakable anguish in your heart?
Seems like she got the wrong guy. At this rate, Navia will be convicted for falsely accusing him.
I think you've done a superb job of dissecting your father's feelings as he neared the end of his life. But aren't you going against all of his wishes and expectations right now? He wished for you to become more rational, collected, and conscientious, instead of dwelling only on your own feelings. Once you've learned to be more considerate of others' feelings, and to stop rushing headlong into things, you'd have met most of his expectations.
This isn't just about me, and it never has been. The biggest difference between me and the rest of the victims is that I still have the ability to search for the truth, while that same agency has long been taken from them. The people whose families were destroyed by synth abuse, the people who lost their loved ones to the serial disappearances, and the people who suffered tragic ends due to their sense of justice. Many people's images are flashing before my eyes. I'm sure some are coming to those of you in the audience as well. And whose image do you see, Marcel? Is it a man named Vacher? Oh, so you do know that name.
I'm merely surprised you'd suddenly say the name of someone I've never even heard of.
I was waiting for you to say that.
The wind knows it. Illusion shattered, torn to oblivion.
Whoa! The floor is going up! up, but Paimon doesn't see a way. Let's take a look around. Maybe we'll find a hidden mechanism that'll show us the way up. The water level is rising. Now we can swim to the top. But this is still a ways away from where we need to go.
Into the wind.
Think you can bully me? Look at you!
As one with wind and cloud. Now you shall perish. Shine down.
Bombs away!
One with nature. There is no escape.
Now the path is clear. Let's go!
The wind knows it. Clouds high. The birds come.
Can't handle your drink.
Torn to oblivion.
Shine down! Into the wind!
After all that, we finally made it to the innermost sanctum. Though, as expected, the mastermind isn't here. That's right. Then let's hurry up. What's all this? Pink accessories, a hair tie, a necklace, even a makeup box. Oh, Paimon sees it too, but... What? Huh? You mean the girls from this... And all the boxes of things. These names. What's this over here? Looks like some kind of... Experiment number 16 aims to verify Jacob Ingold's research conclusions on the The experiment was a failure. No individual managed to resurface from the water from the primordial sea. Female specimens 20... Sorry, Traveler. Paimon will try her best. It's just... How can someone write something that terrible in such a... You read the rest. Paimon's too scared to keep going. So that's why he did all of these experiments. Wait, did he really think he'd be able to find a way just by dissolving people over and over? That's just insane! Huh? Isn't that the name you heard by the fountain? Paimon thought he was an eyewitness in the serial disappearances case. Ah, you mean Vache is the one who did all of these... experiments? So that's it! Vache was no victim. No, that's not it either. If that's the case, why would he want people to risk... In any case... Oh, look! There's an important-looking basin over here, and it's full of water! That means this is where they make all the synth! And that's, if you dilute it with normal water, you'll get synth, but the pure stuff can dissolve a human! Paimon will take notes on this incriminating evidence. Whoa! There's so much synth here! And so many bottles of ingredients that probably just contain the what? Mixing in progress. Ready to drink? Whoa! There's even fruit-flavored synth? Yep, it's... Let's see what's written here. Nothing escapes Detective Paimon. Callus. Navia's father. Oh, this seems to... Yep, this should prove the existence of the third person, right? We still have not determined the exact content of the key. The old dog's a real menace to deal with. Even if he can act whenever he wants to make our lives miserable. I concur. Let's send someone to kill him. Oh, seems like we've got a bunch of correspondence between the higher-ups. They're all... We've looked at almost everything here, and it seems... Yeah, we haven't found find anything. That way, even if we bring all this back to the opera, we won't be able to identify the true... Sure thing. Lover? Then you found her... Aw. It's just a normal diary chronicling their love story. She was so sweet, too. So many! A whole page's worth! The final name she decided on, Marcel. Wait, but Marcel's pretty old. Has this case been going on for so long that he's Vacher and Venier's grown son?
And whose image do you see, Marcel? Is it a man named Vacher? Oh. So you do know that name?
I'm merely surprised you'd suddenly...
I was waiting for you to...
Navia! We're back!
As expected of my partner.
Just how often do you intend to flout the rules of this court?
It's all right, Monsieur Nervalette. Given their confidence, I expect they've found the crucial evidence. But the truth of it, Marcel, is that you've always been Vacher.
Huh?
We've investigated your lair and we already know everything! After your lover, Venier, was dissolved, you kept abducting young women to experiment on the hopes of bringing her back to you! You even created Marcel as a new identity and destroyed all records of your past as Vacher!
So that's it. Even the villains in opera performances rarely go that far. And with that, Marcel's motive has now been established.
This information regarding your past also dismantles your prior timing defense. Well, Marcel, do you know where you went wrong? You fixated your gaze on the lover that passed away, instead of paying attention to the living people around you. So, you never noticed how we changed, or how we grew as individuals.
You also never understood Boss's real expectations for his daughter.
Or our determination to see things through.
Your determination.
Mr. Marcel, please speak up now if you would like to defend yourself. Otherwise, the trial will move on to the next stage.
Do you really think I wanted to do any of this? Pay attention to you? What for? Have you ever paid attention to me? Ever empathized with my pain? Ever known how it feels to watch the love of your life dissolve right in front of your eyes? No one helped me. No one even believed me. All those decades ago, even the officers from the Maison Gardiennage were laughing at me. They said there's no way a human being can turn into water. So I must have gone mad from grief. Well, now you know, don't you? Ha! Well, You only have yourselves to blame. You set up this ornate opera house in pursuit of your so-called justice. Your beloved drama, Vignere, is dead. We promised each other that we would always be together. Wherever she goes, but I'm not from this blasted place.
Hey, is that water from the primordial sea that he's drinking?
I can't dissolve! Can't dissolve! Can't dissolve! Do you all see? I can't go, I can't follow. So if I can't go where she is, what choice do I have but to try to bring her back? I did all of that, and in the end, that accursed Callus, I spent my entire life living on pins and needles, only to get stabbed by his idiot daughter at the
The suspect is exhibiting signs of mental distress. Guards, please restrain him.
Don't touch me! Don't anybody come near me! Vignere, please, Vignere! Don't think badly of me.
At this point, the verdict of this trial is clear. With Mr. Marcel's conviction, the charges against Mr. Tartaglia no longer have any basis.
Fine by me. I was in a bad mood, but after a show like that, I'm actually feeling pretty good.
Traveler, please submit all the evidence you have collected to the guards, so that I might review and summarize the truth. The man now known as Marcel was originally named Vacher and worked as an adventurer with his partner and lover Vignere. During an underwater expedition, Vignere accidentally came into contact with water from the primordial sea and was dissolved in front of Vacher as a result. Vacher learned of the primordial water's existence through the work of others and began to kidnap young women for research. To cover his tracks, he invented the new alias of Marcel and began to operate. During the course of his research, Vacher discovered that a diluted concoction of water from the primordial sea can... However, as he accumulated wealth to fund his continued research and expanded the scope, he came into... After exchanging blows with Spina di Rosula for many years, Vacher decided to assassinate. Although the assassination did not go as Vacher expected, he was able to turn Callus into the murder suspect by dissolving. And just recently, Vacher attempted to frame Linny as the culprit of the serial disappearances case. However, his attempt to frame Linny failed, and the power of water from the primordial sea became public knowledge. This case thus concludes the enigmatic history of the serial disappearances case, with the truth revealed. The Oratrice will now deliver the final verdict regarding the charges against Mr. Vacher. According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale, Mr. Vacher is... guilty.
Guards! Take Vacher away.
Good. It's what he does.
With that, the serial disappearances cases...
We really just witnessed history. Who would have thought the true culprit would...
Yippee! We have Navia! He's hurt so many innocent people and now he... Huh? Are you okay?
Demoiselle, you were absolutely brilliant.
The day our late boss had always hoped for has finally come.
Yeah. It's finally over. It's all thanks to you guys. And my partner. See, Papa? Spina di Rosula's still doing well with me at the helm.
Well now, hasn't this been a most delicious piece of drama? The villain has been caught, justice has been served, past wrongs have been righted, and it's a big ol' happy ending. Since it's been such a great show, I'll just let the false accusations against me slide. Either way, I've still got some business to attend to, so if you'll excuse me...
Please wait just one moment, Mr. Tartaglia.
What now? None of this has anything to do with me.
According to court protocol, since this trial was initiated due to a charge against you, a verdict must also be made regarding the initial charge before the trial can conclude.
Oh, come on. Is this really necessary? Haven't you already caught the real criminal? Isn't it time for side characters like me to—
Please respect the laws of Fontaine. This has always been the rule.
All right, but this sure is a lot of hassle. All I need to do is stand over there, right? Let's—
Through evidence presented in the public trial that was just held, it has been established that the guilty party has been identified, and thus it is logical to— We now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale to render the final verdict on— According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale, Mr. Tartaglia is guilty.
What?
Hey! That's not funny! Didn't you just say I'm supposed to be innocent? What's with this verdict? Is your justice machine malfunctioning?
Huh? This has never happened before. The Oratrice actually returned a different verdict from the Chief Justice.
I mean, have you ever heard of an innocent Fatui Harbinger? Do you think the Oratrice might have just convicted him on general principle?
But weren't the charges about the serial disappearances case? No matter what else he's guilty of, it shouldn't affect the verdict in this case, right?
The judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale is, by law, the final verdict. Guards, please take the suspect into custody.
So this is how justice is done in Fontaine. What a joke. You've got your rules. Well, I've got mine too!
I am sorry. If you have been wronged, we will find the truth. But the rules of the court must be upheld.
Hey, Monsieur Novelette, what's going on? Shouldn't they have been cleared already?
Apologies. This is also the first time I've encountered such a situation. However, according to the rules established, all I do is follow court procedure. As for why the Oratrice arrived at the conclusion it did, you should probably ask someone more knowledgeable than me.
Why are you looking at me? I had nothing to do with it! I don't know what happened there either! Hey, stop staring at me!
What does Lady Verena mean by that?
She says she has no idea either? But that's impossible. Didn't she—
Yeah, so are the verdicts reliable or not? Can results like this really be called justice?
My dearest citizens, did you really think we'd allow an incorrect verdict to be handed out in this court? Don't tell me. You thought even I had been blindsided by the Oratrice's result.
But the way she looked just now, it was pretty obvious she had no idea what was going on.
However, given the state of things, I shall give you an explanation. Everything that just took place, including my supposed shock and bafflement, was a part and, of course, for every performance there is a script. Everything has unfolded exactly as I expected from the very beginning. If you thought Child had nothing to do with the serial disappearances case, it is only because you've been everything he's done, not to mention the danger he poses, all shall be revealed in time. You will come to understand my noble intentions, as well as the absolute correctness of the oratrice's verdict. Now, having said that, although I hate to leave things hanging in suspense, it is now time for this performance to end. As the lead actress, I shall be the first to take my leave. Toodaloo!
So she chose to make her escape after all, did she?
So you're saying we shouldn't put much...
She probably just put on that performance to save face. As for the truth, however, please be assured that I will continue to investigate this case in a personal capacity, just as I promised.
Alright. Even though we feel pretty badly for him, well, after all, he's done plenty of bad stuff. So he should've...
Hey, what are you doing? Quick, stop him!
Traveler! Hey! Traveler!
Marcel! What are you doing over here?
Stop resisting arrest! Cease, or...
No, wait! I just want to ask the Traveler something. I'm not looking to run away. Please, please, just let me ask this one small thing.
Go on.
Thank you. Thank you. I was being led away when I finally realized something. Where did you first hear the name Vacher? I erased all records of that name. So...
Are you still trying to prove your innocence? Give it up. You've already been convicted.
Really? You did? You're sure? You met her? But how could that be? The Fountain of Lucine? Then she's been so close to me. Please give me a chance to talk to her again. Just let the Traveler take me to the fountain to see her one last time.
What? Give an inch and you want to take a mile? Do you think serial killers...
Paimon agrees. Why should we give him what he...
This request, is it worth as much to you as your life?
Of course! Wait, no. It's worth even more than my...
Humans. Will they betray the instinct to live just to satisfy spiritual needs? Very well. I will grant your request.
Your Honor, I fear...
I will go with him. You do not need to worry about any escape.
In that case...
Thank you. Thank you. Is this the place? You said she's here, but what do I need to do to see her?
Yeah, and even Paimon could hear her after drinking that thing. Didn't you just drink a lot of it on the stage as well?
Vacher.
Ah!
Yes, that's it. So you heard it too.
Vignier, it's me! It's me, Vacher.
Vacher? Vacher.
I'm here! I'm here! Where are you, Vignier? I'm coming for you. I'm finally here for you.
Hey, wait! Be careful!
Vignier, is that you? It's me, Vacher! Vignier!
Vacher? Why did you come? Didn't I say? You don't need to look for me. You look a lot older than I remember. How long has it been?
It's been more than 20 years. I've suffered for over 20 years since the day you left. All this time, only the thought of bringing you back has... I must be dreaming. Who would have thought I'd get the chance to tell you, Vignere, you are my everything. I really don't know how I could live without you.
But Vache, if you ask me, this world would be better off without you.
What are you saying?
If not for you, I would have finished my law degree and probably become a top-tier attorney one day. If not for you, I would have continued to pursue my love of the arts, and my works would have been displayed in the Palais Mermonia itself. If not for you, I would at least have been able to take care of my mother. And she would not have grown old and died alone. It's all because of your selfishness, Vache. It's all because of you.
Wait, you are not Vignere. Who are you?
You're right. I am not Vignere. I am the sacrifices. Every woman who died by your hand, as our bodies dissolved, our consciousnesses flowed back to the primordial sea. Our thoughts circulated endlessly within the primordial sea, and we were no longer individuals, but we became one, just as streams of water come together. I'm Cressy. I'm Lemony. I'm Azine. The only one I am not is Vignere.
Why? But then, where is Vignere?
She doesn't want to see you anymore. Every tendril of her consciousness is avoiding you. This is what you get for your selfishness. Your selfishness robbed us of our lives and our futures. You said time and time again that you'd do any and everything for her. But did you ever consider whether she'd want to see you do the things that you did? If she would despise you? You are a liar, a heartless murderer, and the only thing you are not is Vignere's beloved. From the moment your first victim died and her consciousness merged with Vignere's, she has had nothing but pure...
No! Vignere! She can't hate me. Let me see her, please!
You still don't understand. When I said don't look for me, that came from the real Vignere. But on top of that, she also said that because it's her final drop. She said that because she knew that if you did come here, we will show no mercy to you.
Vache.
Vache? Vache. 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 Drown.
Finally, we have some time to do shopping. Gosh, it's really been a long time since we've been able...
Huh. Well met, partner.
Even this weather can't put a down.
It's a pleasure to see you both again.
Oh, hey, Navia!
Oh, now that I believe.
Sounds like you're really enjoying life these...
It's just been one thing after the other. I've been making non-stop. Everyone from Spina di Rosula organized a memorial for my father. We never held a memorial when he first died. Since everyone this time, though, everyone in Poisson, and even many people...
So his name's definitely been cleared now.
It's been the dearest wish of them.
That blasted stubborn fool. I was right. Oh, by the way, I ran into Charlotte. Well, maybe it'd be more accurate to say I knew.
Huh? So you know Charlotte too?
Yeah, way back when I first became the president of the Spina di Rosula. I believe the story was called The True Heart of Darkness. To be fair, though, it was a really flattering feature. So, we've been on pretty good terms ever since. She was trying to lean on our friendship to get me to do an exclusive piece on this.
Oh, yeah. She told.
Anyway, I told her to make sure that when she writes about you. Oh, and in other news.
Oh, are you two on better?
While you were investigating Vashey's headquarters, Clorand gave testimony on my father's behalf. It was thanks to her that we were able to turn the tide.
Oh, that's great.
Anyway, now that the case has finally been solved. Oh, actually.
What is it?
I should pay a visit to my father's grave. And on top of that.
Miss Navia.
Indeed.
We want to go too. We also think Callus is.
Sure thing. I'd like you.
And in that case, everyone?
Yeah, you're right. This is where my father's.
Huh? There's. Isn't that Nervalette? Why would the Chief Justice be here? Huh? Navia?
My apologies. I should have asked before coming to pay my respects.
Don't say that.
Sorry about that.
Oh, I was trying to say that I wanted to show my father how much I've grown. But still, I doubt I've grown to the point that even the...
In that case, I will stop apologizing.
You really could use some pointers on... In any case.
Well, ever since that day, I've been turning it. There was once a time when I didn't want to believe that there could be anything more important to humans than life itself. Oh, rather than that, it's probably more truthful to say I didn't believe humans were capable of resistance, which is also why I didn't stop your father. I believed that but Mr. Callus proved me utter, if not for his sacrifice. Mr. Callus made the choice he did for his daughter. And in the end, from a certain perspective, a justice that's higher than... So, you asked me why I came here. I just wanted to say my apologies to Mr. Callus in person. I should have... This regret has filled me with a sadness that has haunted me for days. That high and mighty chair in the opera Epicles indeed insulates one from many important things. Spina di Rosula, thank you so much for your...
So, you're actually one of those types that's cold on the outside.
Sorry about that. So...
Didn't I just say...
Ah, so Navia and Nervalette, see? Let's not disturb them for now. We can wait. Paimon's never paid respects at... Huh? Oh no. Paimon hopes Miss Nav... Anyway, Nervalette is still standing around there. It's not often that we can catch him alone like this, so... Why don't we go...
Oh, it's you two. Did Miss Navia invite...
We ran into Navia on this...
I see.
Well, it's...
Please feel free. Though outsiders, you helped us solve one of the greatest mysteries in Fontaine, and it would be my
So, at court, the bad guys referred to that special water as water from the primordial sea, but...
Truthfully, that name is already quite accurate. I can only surmise that Vashey and his ilk only learned of its name. There used to be a special sea on the surface of this planet. The nature of its seawater was rather different. Most of Tevat's life forms were first born in that special sea.
Huh. So it really was where everything began.
But today, the primordial sea no longer exists on the planet's surface. What Vashey discovered must have been some kind of special case.
Huh. So that's how it is. Oh, you really know everything most...
Indeed. Why would the primordial sea, which was known to engender and, to be frank, that also doesn't match my understanding of this world and its laws. Is there anything else you'd like to ask me about? That the sea levels will rise and everyone will be... Does that appropriately summarize the version you've heard?
That's right! It was Linny—
Yes, up to the present, I think we reached a point where we have no choice. Rumors have it that this prophecy is rooted in the last words the former Hydro Archon left to the world.
A prophecy? Of the former Hydro?
2 parts of the prophecy have already proven correct. The rising sea levels, and the ability of the people of Fontaine to be dissolved. Speaking of the prophecy, Furina has also always taken it quite seriously. Indeed, she has been collecting— If the rumors were true, then perhaps this prophecy is the conundrum left to Furina by her predecessor.
But with Furina being the way she is—
Is there anything else you'd like to ask me about? My apologies. However, For many years, I have been quite aware that the Oratrice does not simply mechanic as a divinely created mechanism. The people's unified not only can it produce the— Which is all to say, I've been—
So when Linny told us that he heard—
I was not aware such a thing had occurred. Perhaps that could in any case, I am inclined to believe— Based on Furina's reaction, I doubt even she had any idea what was— While we do intend to get to the bottom of this, if we did incorrectly convict him of crimes he did not commit—
If you ask Paimon, the—
Is there anything else? Your sibling, another blonde-haired traveler. If he ever stepped foot in Fontaine, I'm sure he followed our laws to the letter. Is there anything else you'd like to ask me about? Very well. It will soon be time for me to leave this blissful tranquil—
You really are super big—
Crime and villainy do not have the day off, and so justice must work around the clock as well. This is merely the—
All right. Huh? Paimon just noticed that the rain has stopped.